All right. Hey everyone, welcome to the new contributor meet and greet call for the month of December. So this call happens on the first Tuesday of every month, and this is to help new contributors to SIG docs to get their queries resolved and so on. So just a reminder that this call is under like we are following the CNCF code of conduct, which basically means that we have to be excellent to each other. Now that we have that out of the way, usually this call is handled by Ash, who is the new contributor ambassador, but today he is unavailable, so I'm taking this up. So usually what we do in these calls is we like everyone take a chance and like they introduce themselves and they sort of share where they are in the project, like what are they trying to achieve, like are they completely new to the Kubernetes ecosystem, or like are they a beginner contributor who is working on some issue currently, and we basically discuss any questions or uh, general queries that people might have. So I guess I'll start with the introduction. Like I'll introduce myself. My name is Reena Venkatesh. I am working at a company called Big Bandry, and I've been working with Kubernetes for a little over a year now. And I'm also active in the open source ecosystem, like in SIG docs, and uh, I'm also part of the release team. And I've been joining these new contributor calls for a couple of times now. Yeah, that's about me. I think I'll call out a name, and that person, once they introduce, they can tell someone else. I'll go with Aditya.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Real pleasure to meet all of you here. So I'm Aditya Samant. I've been in the IT industry for many years now. In my previous company, I was working as a director of microservices and cloud native R&D, working extensively with a lot of open source technologies and mainly managing a big team of people who were working with microservices and heavily utilizing Kubernetes. Recently I kind of made a decision in my career that I would like to move away from a managerial role and get more into technical oriented work. So currently, I am taking a break from my professional career and working a bit on upskilling myself because a long time in management, so I got a bit away from the hands-on part of it. So I'm taking some weeks to again upskill. Kubernetes has been one of the project which I was very passionate about. I'm still very passionate about. Been working with it for over 4 years now, and this year I completed my CKAD and CKA certifications. Currently pursuing the CKS. I'm a big admirer of the Kubernetes documentation. I think it's fantastic that so much content has been put into the documentation in such a great way. And as I'm getting more hands-on with the technology, there are places where I feel that okay, I would like to contribute to the documents and give back to the community. And so yeah, that's where I am, and that's what got me to this meeting. Glad to meet all of you. Thanks.
Awesome. Would anybody else like to go next?
Okay, I can go. Um, Hi everyone. My name is Ruchi Kumari, and I'm a pre-final undergraduate student from India. And I have contributed to other CNCA projects too, like Meshri, where I was community member too. And I have recently joined Kubernetes community and started contributing to SysDocs. So till now, it was a good experience, and I'm looking forward to contribute more and more. So yeah, that's all about me.
some, I guess we can mention someone else's name so we can go ahead next. So Ati, would you like to?
Okay, yeah, sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Swati. I'm a final year student currently studying engineering, and I'm from Bangalore, India. So this semester, I was privileged enough to take up a class on distributed computing, and that's what piqued my interest in Kubernetes. So I was interested in doing code contributions, but I wanted to get a better hang of how things work and try to share my knowledge. I love to write, so I wanted to share my knowledge through that way, which is why I joined the Doc Special Interest Group. It's very nice to meet all of you.
Anyone else in the call? Pratham, Archit, Abhijit, or Adin?
Hello. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Hello everyone. I am Pratham and I am a SOFOMO and I am currently pursuing electronics and communication engineering in IIT Roorkee. And what got to me to this meeting is that I am quite interested in cloud computing, and I'm just a beginner right now. I was just exploring. I had some experience in Docker, but I was just exploring about Kubernetes. So I found it quite interesting. And like after reading the docs, I thought like I would like to give it a go. And since it's my very first project, since it's my very first time to contribute to the open source, so like I am looking forward to getting some help from others, so that like I can begin my journey in the field of open source. Thank you.
Thank you. Archit, Abhijit, or Ayan?
Hi. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
So hello everyone, myself Aryan. I am in my pre-final year of engineering. I'm doing engineering in artificial intelligence and data science, and this is my first project and first time contributing to open source. So really looking forward to contribute towards the talks and learn some great stuff. Also, I'm a full stack dev. So some containerization and dockerization I have done in the past. So it took my interest towards this project, like Kubernetes and this stuff. That's all from my side.
Thank you. Archit and Abhijit.
Hey everyone, I'm Avizit from Patna, Bihar, India, and I got introduced to open source since past 3-4 months ago, and then I also been part of CNCF Zero to Mers first cohort, and I've been contributing to Layer 5 community and CNCF sandbox project Mesri since past 3-4 months back, and yeah, I just want to explore Kubernetes project as well, so that's why I'm here. Thank you for all. Welcome.
Hi everyone. My name is Archit. I'm a third year undergrad student from India. Open source is not new to me. I've been contributing since for the 5-6 months. Uh, I'm looking for new opportunities here, so that's why I've joined the Kubernetes community, and I hope I grow more here. Thank you.
Finally, we have Divya here.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. I was about to say it in the first thing, but it's okay. So, hi everyone, I'm Divya. And my full name is Divya Mohan, and I am one of the maintainers for documentation on the Kubernetes project. So, surprise, surprise, I'm not a new contributor. Yeah, so basically, welcome to each and every one of you who is a new contributor here. Like most of you, I also had started off on a very similar note. Like I can pretty much resonate with the getting familiar with Dockers and containers, and then moving on to the Kubernetes side of things, and getting interested by how it actually works via the help of documentation. That sounds very similar to what my journey was. And the hope is with this call, if you're interested in contributing to the documentation, we're able to help you and guide you in the process. But yeah, over and above the maintainership that I have in the project, I'm also CNCF ambassador, and I work with SUSE as a senior technical evangelist. So my life has a lot of Kubernetes in it in general, if you were to take a summary of whatever I just said. But yeah, that's about me, and a very, very warm welcome to everyone.
Okay, thank you, Divya. Yeah, so usually the structure of this call is like we go about introducing ourselves, and so that we get an idea of where everyone is. And later, if you have any questions or like, basically this call is about you, and we are here to help you make your first contribution to the Kubernetes project. And if you have any questions or like any blockers, which is like stopping you from being able to contribute, or generally any sort of confusion that if you have, we are here to help you with that. And yeah, if anyone has any question, you can share them here, or else I guess we can share some general advice towards the end.
Yeah.
Hey.
Can I ask? I have listed 3 or 4 items which I wanted to quickly get your clarification. So the first, I have contributed several months ago, and that PR, got approved pretty fast. And now that I have more time on my hands, I'm getting back into it. So there are some doubts. So firstly, if I spot an improvement which I can make, which I can contribute to the documentation, is it necessary that I first create an issue and then raise a PR, or can I directly raise a PR? This was my first doubt.
So I would say that creating an issue first would be ideal, because the maintainers would have an easier time like going through the PRs, because if they see a PR which is already associated like linked to an issue. So basically, when we create issues, they go to a triaging process, and the triage label would be added. So for the people who are reviewing the PRs, it would be easier for them to
Okay.
see why that change is needed. So I would recommend creating an issue.
Okay, clear. Thanks. That gets me to my next question about the labels. There are a lot of labels associated to each issue, so it gets a bit confusing. So I just wanted to know that if I am glancing through all the open issues and I wanted to, let's say, pick one of the issue to contribute, is there a particular label or a stage which I should be aware of, saying, let's say that it's in this stage, so now, okay, it's approved for a contribution or something like that? And also the needs triage, because I see this label a lot, needs triage. So is it related? Can I work on an issue which doesn't have the needs triage or something like that? If you can just help me out, when is a particular issue okay to start working on?
Right. I will quickly pull up the repo here on my side. So I believe we have two labels, needs triage and triage accepted. So needs triage is when if we are not sure if the change is actually required. So some reviewer, they might go through the issue and like tag it as triage accepted, so that the issue is valid and someone can start working on it. So that doesn't mean that all the issues which are having needs triage are like invalid or you cannot work on them. You can definitely work on issues which are not triaged as well, but you can always reach out in the SIG docs channel in Slack if you're not already part of that. And like you can reach out there, like you can post the issue link and ask if this is something that you can work on. Or else, if you like, you can also like join the SIG docs the weekly meetings. So There is this community calendar. I'll share the link for that here in the chat, where you can find all the invites to all the meetings related to all the different SIGs. So yeah, you can join the SIG docs meeting and you can talk about your issue in the call.
Okay.
I just have something to add on to what Sriram has just said. So, in addition to all of these avenues, the best way to understand if you can actually work or not on the issue is by asking on the issue itself. So, you have the opportunity, like you are not anyone, literally anyone, even without a Kubernetes org membership, as you probably already know, can comment on the issue and ask if this is workable. So, for example, I think it's Archit on the call who has actually raised a concern on SIGDoc Slack whether or not we need the needs triage label. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was Archit.
Yes, it's Archit.
Yeah.
It's me.
Yeah, so essentially, triage accepted means that we have accepted the change in terms of, like, understanding what needs to be changed and where it needs to be changed, and what are the supporting resources that are required from a reviewer and an approver standpoint. If a triage accepted label is not there, typically what happens is that we might have had discussions, but we're still very unclear about what the change needs to go through. Like, what is the exact change that needs to go through when, like when that particular change needs to be reflected in our documentation. So I cannot exactly pull the thing up, unfortunately, because I am on my mobile. So the issue that he has linked on the SIGDoc Slack channel is sort of a bug report, and Harsh has basically said that there's a bug report wherein um, in the persistent storage section, there is a section of volume plugins that are deprecated, and it is better for everyone who's consuming the documentation to understand that those actual plugins are deprecated. Otherwise, it's misinformation, right, on the part of the project, that we're not saying it's deprecated. So there should be a note that the volume plugins are deprecated on the page, or on like a separate page elsewhere. So there's a discussion still very much ongoing, understanding, and people are trying to understand, which is where I think there was a concern as to whether or not this change can be pushed or it cannot be pushed by Archit. So I would recommend that you ask on the issue itself whether this is the intended change before you start working on an issue, because things might have changed since the last time you actually saw the issue, or since you last saw the documentation. There might have been PRs that would have not been linked to the issue, so you never know what has changed. So it's absolutely essential that you check in with the requester or with the people who are reviewing the issues on the issue itself, that whether it's workable and whether triage has been accepted. So if a triage accepted label is there, that means it's certified that this is the change that needs to go through. That is the TLDR.
Okay, clear.
Yeah.
Thanks, Divya. Thank you.
Not a problem.
Thanks, Sriram. That's all from my side.
Actually, I have a doubt. I was setting up the website locally, but it is not actually showing any changes. I also have posted my doubt in the Kubernetes new contributors section, but last night, but no one has responded yet for that stuff. So need some assistance in that. I'm following the docs for.
Posted the message today, right? Today morning. Well,
Yep. At
yeah,
12:27.
So yeah, I was just looking at that. So which like operating system are you on? Windows or
macOS.
Linux? macOS, okay. Mm. Okay, I think I'll like we can take this offline. Like I can take a look at the like logs and I'll get back to you. But the one thing that I see like, off the top of my head is I can see Linux/ARM 64 in the logs. So we can make sure that you're running all the proper images. Like if you are running on an M1 Mac or an M2 Mac, it could be because of
I'm
the
running it.
architecture differences.
Okay. I'm running it
Uh,
on M1 Mac actually.
Okay, so if that is the case, then like I've run the Kubernetes website locally, and like I was able to get it running, and I can go through my bash history and see if I had made any changes. I don't remember off the top of my head, but like generally while running Docker, I've had cases where I had to like explicitly mention that the image should be ARM64, because if the image is built for like a different platform, I'm not able to get it running on my machine. So I guess I can, if we can take this offline, if that's all right.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so I can go. So I have one question, one doubt that since I was contributing from last 2 weeks, so I want to ask like whom should I tag if I want to work on some issue and it's tries pending, like some issues are really raised of over for a long time and no one has commented on that. So whom should I tag?
I
Yeah,
can take that.
I'll let.
That's not a problem. Yeah. So, Suresh, I think you've also mentioned this in the Slack channel under the thread that not Ankit, sorry, Tim started regarding the long pending issues. So, you do not need to tag anyone. The thing is, all of us here are voluntary contributors, and this means that we do this in our spare time. It's not part of our jobs that we're doing this. So, we are doing this in a manner that's most okay with us. And I know that there are a lot that is pending. There are a lot of issues that are pending triage, and some of them are really important. But the thing is that we also manage other areas within the project as well, and it's not just the documentation. So, what I'd request is that if you think there is an issue that you think needs more priority, message on the issue, comment on the issue itself, and ask the requester to provide more details and understand what the issue is regarding. If you have an idea about the issue, like it's not a cosmetic change like a typo edit or a broken link fixing, and if you have an idea, I would recommend you to start reviewing the issues yourself. But since there is also the problem of um, you not having sufficient context because you've just been contributing for 2 weeks, I would also recommend that you to actually just ask on the issues itself whether this issue still needs work, and check the relevant pages that actually are linked in the issue to see if it needs work yourself. So these are the things. And coming directly to your question regarding who to tag, we are coming up with an issue wrangler rota, which is for the next year. So next year is in another 4 months, not 4 months, sorry, 4 weeks. So you should have the names of the people on the issue wrangler rota, which I think Sriram, if you can link it here, that would be helpful. So it's currently not populated. We're still accepting nominations from people who are organization members only, which means that you have to have GitHub organization membership. And we are populating the rota by the quarter so that we can accommodate everyone. So once towards the end of December, you should have people who you can tag for the next quarter for a particular week of the month regarding issues. So this person will be responsible for issues for that particular week, and will be responsible for the labeling, taking care of the triaging and everything else for that particular week only. So that's the direct response for your answer. And the TLDR is that we do not have anybody right now. So that is because we're all voluntary, and this is why this role has been formalized for starting next year.
Okay. I do have another doubt. That's recently I saw your video with Nitali. So you guys were referring to an area that was the web development part, which needs improvement. So I'm not sure, like, what are the areas in web development you guys need, like, really need improvement, and can I create issues for that if it's needed?
So there are several areas of web development that we need help with, and are also issues if you filter by the label area/web
Yeah.
development. If you actually go and filter by that label, you will be able to check the issues. I don't know if there are any good first issues for you to take on, but you can check that list in any order that you wish, to see if there are any that suit your appetite and experience level. Again, web development related would be more specific to our tooling, that is Hugo and the Doxy theme of Hugo that we work with, and to see if there is any UX design related stuff that you can take on. But a lot of issues are already reported with the label area/web development, and I would highly recommend that you actually go through that list before bringing up new ones. Although if you do bring up new ones, there is absolutely no issue. But it would be best if you actually start working your way from there and then bringing up the newer ones, in my opinion. Again.
Okay, thanks for clearing my query.
Actually, I also have one more doubt. So basically, I am right now contributing in the documentation, but soon I want to jump to the architecture, and I really want to contribute to the core functionalities of Kubernetes. But at the same time, I do not have much more idea about the Kubernetes and stuff. So can someone guide me? Where should I go, and how should I get into this?
I think that's a separate discussion outside of the contributor meet and greet for SIG docs, since this is very specific to SIG docs. And I'm really sorry that I have to say that, but honestly speaking, what I would recommend is for you to attend meetings and figure out where you fit in based on your skill sets. Um, but this question as is would be outside of the scope of what should be discussed during the SIG docs contributor meeting.
Cool, cool.
Yeah, like adding to what Divya already said, like I think if you have any particular area of Kubernetes that you'd like to contribute to, like some area that you're already familiar with, so you can find the meetings of all the different SIGs in the community calendar, and maybe you can bring up this question in the meeting of any particular SIG, where they also have, like you can go through the agenda for the other. Like, for example, if you're talking about SIG CLI, you can join the SIG CLI bi-weekly call, and you will find people there who can help you with this. Yeah.
I had a question. So I'm not very familiar with Kubernetes. I am actually I learned distributed computing. So I know things like Apache Spark, Hadoop, Kafka, and so on. And I am contributing to Kubernetes like merely out of interest. So I want to learn more. So where do you think I can get started? Like right now for SIG docs, mainly what I'm contributing to is website related issues. Like one of them was to replace the Slack favicon with the new one. But I do want to make more like noticeable changes to the docs itself about the architecture and other aspects rather than just aesthetic website changes.
So I would suggest you can start with the getting started section in the documentation. And like you can set up your own cluster locally using Minikube or Kind or something, which is described there in the documentation. And you can go through, there are different tasks. Like there is a task section in the documentation which it goes through different areas, like setting up deployments or services locally, and you can slowly start trying it out. Divya, I saw that you were like going to say something. Okay.
No, it was pretty much what I said a while back. Like this is very specific to SIG docs. So if there are issues with like respective to the documentation or how to get started contributing to the documentation side of things.
Yes, that's actually what I meant.
Okay, so if you're looking at getting started with the documentation itself, what Sriram actually just said works perfectly well. It's in fact how I also got started. I did not do a lot about Kubernetes. I just knew that there was something called as Docker, something called as containers, and all of that. And then I started myself on this journey by making a very small not typo edit, but like a small web development edit here and there. But other than that, what really helped is for me to go through the documentation and figure out um, how to install Kubernetes locally. Firstly, you need to understand the project itself to contribute to it. So I did that, and if that works for you, that's the very best way because it gives you a hands-on experience. And from there, once you go through each of the sections, you're bound to notice some sort of because it's written by a human, and as much as I hate to admit it, you're bound to notice some error, some misconfiguration stated somewhere. So you report that and you resolve that. Otherwise, if you're like not interested in like going through the whole process, what I'd also recommend is you can like once you finish like gaining a basic knowledge of Kubernetes and you have like an overall understanding of the various basic concepts, take on one of the issues and try, there are multiple, and by multiple, I mean like hundreds of them that require you to technically author stuff in terms of concepts, in terms of elaborating on very specific security stuff or, tasks or something like that. So all of those are still very much there in the 750 odd issues that we have currently. Take on that and, flesh it out a little more. So it totally depends on how you want to go about it. When you're speaking about how to contribute to docs, you can take the tried and tested path of actually just installing and seeing if there are any errors. Or once you have a better grasp, you can just move on to actually technically authoring, which is completely acceptable.
Okay, and I had another question. I saw that there was some sort of newsletter called This Week in Kubernetes, which was like meant to
Last week in
like
Kubernetes. Yeah.
last week in Kubernetes, yeah. So I was even interested in that. So I wanted to know the procedure of how to contribute to that as well. Like not at right now,
Yeah.
but at some point in the future.
That's okay. So Sriram's actually working on that, I believe, and this could be taken offline because again, not a part of SIG docs, and it's
Okay.
part of SIG contributor experience because it reaches out to contributors with respect to whatever is going on in the Kubernetes project and everything else. So yeah, so essentially that's again outside of SIG docs.
Okay,
So this is something Sriram can guide you more about because he's involved in it. But SIG Contribex is the place to ask for this because they are the ones shepherding this initiative.
All right. Thank you.
Don't mention.
Yeah, there are two channels. There is the SIG Contribix channel as well as the SIG Contribix Comms channel, which is where we like coordinate the newsletter and all the communication part of it. You can join both of these channels and you can get involved.
Okay, okay.
Sriram, if I may, a small doubt about localization. Let's say I want to contribute and I make a change to the English documentation. Then, if it is, let's say, a simple change to a command or something, then am I expected to also put different PRs for the other languages, or localization takes a different path later? Is it okay to only submit a PR for English?
I guess Divya would be the better person to answer this, but from my understanding, usually people make pull requests which are only for updating the English out of the documentation. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're absolutely right. So essentially, whenever you make a change to the PR, whenever you make a change to the English website, or you want to make a change to anything that is there across the localizations, you are expected to submit it per localization. It's not going to be a blanket PR with all changes for each language. This is because the English website has different reviewing and approval processes, and the localizations each, all of the 14 of them, have different reviewing and approval processes. So what works for Chinese might not really work for a Hindi localization, and it definitely does not work for the Korean localization. So each localization will have a separate PR raised and reviewed and approved via the proper process that they follow within the localization. The English website PR will be reviewed and approved per the process that's followed in this localization. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, partly. I understand that if it is a change in a sentence, then okay, it doesn't make sense to also raise a PR for something like Chinese, because of course I may not know the language. But let's say the change is in a example of a command which is given, and if that command will of course be the same across languages, right? So
True.
if we don't submit a PR for the other languages, the documentations will go out of sync. Or is there a process that it is taken care of in the background? That was mainly what.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to paint the picture really clearly for you. All of the localizations are not at the same pace. So Hindi localization got started last year. Chinese and Korean have been around for a longer time, and some of the other localizations are somewhere in between. This means that if you're making a change in the English website, that page might not necessarily exist across the other localizations, and it might also exist. So that is why we recommend that blanket PRs not be raised. In general, even if the pages are across localization, it is a single PR per localization, because um, necessarily all the changes will not affect all the localizations. Some localizations don't have the pages, some of them will. So
Okay.
irrespective
Okay.
of whatever the changes.
Okay, so it's completely fine to raise a PR just for English. That was.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
That's completely fine.
Awesome. We are actually 12 minutes extra, like going extra right now. This is a really productive call, because usually the new contributor meet and greet calls doesn't actually last for 30 minutes, but today it has been really productive. Does anyone else have any more questions? If no, I think we can wind up the call. We can do a final call if anyone else has anything to ask or share before we end the call. We can do it now. Else, we can wind up the call. I think there aren't any more questions.
Yeah, just want to say thanks to both Sriram and Divya. It was a helpful meeting. Thank you to both of you.
Thank you, and yeah, we hope all your questions have been cleared. Thank you so much to Divya for helping me out the call. Like, I learned a lot about how localization works in a short time. Yeah, if you have any other questions that you would like to take off the call, I guess we can, like you folks can reach out to the SIG Docs channel, or like if it is regarding any particular issue, like Divya mentioned, you folks can, reach out in the issue itself. With that, I think we can wrap up the call now. Divya, I guess we
Thank
can
you. Thank you.
stop
Yep.
the
Thank
recording.
you, everyone. Have a good eve. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.